Hi, my name is Marsha Catter, and my first book I did was Fish in a Tree. It is a chapter book, and it is suitable for children, probably I would say third through sixth grade, possibly even older. But it is a by Linda Mullally Hunt. It's a really good book. It's about a girl, Allie, who struggles with reading and writing. When her teacher, Mrs. Hall, asks them to write about themselves, Allie draws a blank. She couldn't write a thing on the paper. It isn't until Mrs. Hall threatens to send her to the office that she begins to write. But all she writes on her paper is the word "why" from top to the bottom. Um, and Allie gives Mrs. Hall, they're planning a baby shower for Mrs. Hall because she's going on maternity leave, obviously because she's pregnant. Um, and Allie gives her a card. Allie, because she struggles with reading, she doesn't realize what the card says. And the card is actually a sympathy card. And she gets in trouble because of the card, but she doesn't understand why she gets in trouble. Um, and this particular page in the book kind of sums all of that up. In the very bottom paragraph, just kind of resonated with me. No matter how many times I've prayed and worked and hoped, reading for me is still like trying to make sense of a can of alphabet soup that's been dumped on a plate. I just don't know how other people do it. And as a teacher, that just kind of hit home there. Okay. One of the activities that I would have them do after once her teacher goes on maternity leave, she has a substitute teacher, which is Mr. Daniels. Mr. Daniels realizes that Allie has a problem with reading. He understands that the kids are making fun of her. He sees all of this, and she he puts on the board this decipher. He wants all the kids. He says extra credit, and it's a decipher for everybody to decide what this says, because this is somehow somewhat similar to how Allie sees words in a book. And he realizes that she's got dyslexia, and he also goes into he gives the whole class a lesson without, because he doesn't want to point her out. He he does research, and he says that um, all of these other people from history have had dyslexia, including Walt Disney. And he also says that if we judge a fish by how well he can climb in a tree, we'll feel like he is stupid as well, because Allie's always felt like she was stupid. One of the things that I would do as a hands-on activity for this book would be for the students to decipher a code. You could also incorporate some social studies in with that as well, depending on what grade level you teach. But deciphering a code and doing some other dyslexia activities with making them write their names backwards and things so that they can see what it's like to have dyslexia, and and why it's important to not make fun of people. This book, the Allie does a lot of growing. It's a really good book to read. I really liked it. The next one is Too Many Tamales by Gary Soto. This particular book is kind of set in a different culture where this family is making tamales for because they're having the family over. Um, Maria did something that she knew she wasn't supposed to do, which is she took her mom's ring and put it on her finger. Well, she after she had asked her mom if she could wear it, of course her mom said no, and she did it anyway. Well, once she put this ring on, they started making. She was making the flour. She was mixing up the mesa to spread on the corn husk to wrap the meat in for the tamales. Okay. She was in her room and decided and realized that the ring was missing. And so she and her cousins had to run down and eat all of those tamales. And of course, to look for the ring. But her mom had the ring on her finger the whole entire time. This particular book would be age appropriate for kindergarten to third grade. You could probably, depending on the activities you did, you could probably move it on up to, I'd say, fourth, fifth grade. The one thing that I would do would be to actually have tamales and have the students taste them. Of course, thinking about keeping allergies in mind the whole entire time. And then we would write about how those the the cultural food from this particular culture is similar and different from our food here in our culture, and maybe what foods do we eat that is similar. My next book is Pink and Say by Patricia Polacco. Pink and Say are the most unlikely of friends. Um, Pink was had gotten separated from his troop and was finding his way home whenever he saw Say laying in a field on the battlefield, wounded. Okay, so he carries Say all the way home to his mom for her to help him get better. His mom is Momo Bay, and she has taken residence in a house that's been abandoned from the South. And both the boys are fighting for against slavery. They both want to end it, and the boys, they got better, and they set back out to go back to war to help fight the war. And these two boys, although fighting the same war, they are from two different cultures. And that's the twist in this book. That's the diversity in the book. How did these two boys, although they were fighting the same war, how are they different? That's the one activity that I would have my students complete, is to compare and contrast these two characters in the book. Also, this it's alluded that Patricia Polacco's great 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 grandfather was Say, so he actually was able to escape or win the war, and went on to have a family and prosper. It's been said that once Pink and Say were captured, that Pink was actually hanged a few days after the war. And like I said, the activity that I would have them do would be to compare and contrast the two gentlemen in the story, and talk about how they were different but yet similar.